Hey guys, welcome back to the Miracosta Film Makers Podcast. I'm Kim and I'm here with
Tim.
Jessica.
And let's get to it. We're back after our winter break. It's the second week back, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited.
Me too.
What classes are you guys taking?
Currently, right now, I'm taking film theory, and I'm also taking with Jessica.
Yes, we're in the same class together.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really upset I don't have a class with you guys.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, we got the club, we've got the podcast, and you've got our fans. That's
Yes.
your thing too.
And we've got your numbers.
All 5 of them.
All right. So, what classes are you guys taking? You're taking the film theory?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my whole class schedule is totally screwed right now because I've been changing up my classes and I'm thinking about dropping classes and it's just a mess right now. Just don't ask me that.
Didn't you just say? Are you gonna take that Eastern culture?
Yeah,
class?
I'm trying to get into that class right now. I need the professor's approval and and I just took I started taking my piano class, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that class right now. So
okay, so you're just down to one class right now?
I have no idea. My brain is fried. Yes.
#mood. What about you, Tim? How many classes are you taking, if you don't mind me asking?
Right now, I'm just taking 2. Hopefully, I'll be able to find the right time to link up because I have a little bit of a car issue, transport-wise. But, once that clears up, hopefully I'll be able to also find, a good third class or just, maybe have a part-time job. But right now, just 2.
Hell yeah. I'm currently taking 4. I was taking 5 because I took a fallback class in case one of them didn't work out because I was originally on the wait list for a 202 English class, and if that didn't work out, I was gonna have the 201 English class, but I ended up getting confirmed that I am now enrolled in the 202 class, so I was just should I keep the other class? I ended up dropping it because I kind of realized that it's a combination of both the 202 class and a literature class that I'm taking, so I dropped that. So now I just have 4 classes, which I'm really happy about because they're all centered around writing and reading, I'm trying to get back into that too. Literature class, English class, what's it called? Boland's film class.
Film history 1.
Yeah. It's film history, the 111 course. And then, digital photography. Yeah.
Taking any pictures there?
Not yet. I need to.
Yeah, Professor Boland was really adamant about us taking photography classes. He says that it really is supposed to help with getting into film.
Yeah, and I'm definitely already understanding why. Learning about exposure, ISO, and all that jazz, which is it's already clicking as to why I need to learn this stuff, which I'm really excited about, and kind of was unintentional because I've loved photography since high school, and I have never taken one of the digital photography classes before. I just did the darkroom ones because I didn't have a digital camera at the time. I didn't have a DSLR, but I do now, and I really want to learn more about how to use it, and what better thing to do than to take a digital photography class. So I'm really excited.
And those types of classes also help just with dual majoring also.
Yeah.
For me, I'm trying to take writing and film as my majors.
I think I'm actually going to do that too. Yeah, I ran into Florin Villain the other day before the club or whatever, and I was thinking maybe I'm thinking about double majoring in English and film because I want to get back into film, which is why I took Boland's class again. So I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are too. So what did we do in film club yesterday, Jessica? Because Tim, you weren't there, were you? No.
I sat and I ate pudding.
You did. Okay, never mind. Shut up. No. So, yeah, I was there too. We messed around a lot with lighting. We got little, and we also kind of multitasked. We're hoping to film a film club trailer so we can advertise for our film club and get more people involved.
Yep. We
And
definitely need more people.
Yeah, because I think yesterday we only had 5 or 6 people literally in the club.
Why don't we talk about the times?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we meet on 3 different days now.
Yeah, and they're all going to be from 3 to maybe 6, because lucky for us, we have the room reserved the whole semester these 3 days. So we're really excited about that. We have them reserved each day for a couple hours, like 3 to 6, I think, or maybe 3, or maybe is it 3:30 to 6?
Yeah, on Wednesday, which is our main meeting time, it's from 3 to 5:30, and then Friday, I believe it's from 12 to 2, I think. And Monday it's 4 to 6, I think.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, those are the film club times if anyone out there wants to join.
Yeah, and each day, we're going to focus on a different aspect of film. So, one of the days we're focusing on writing, and one of the days we're focusing on editing, and then one of the days we're doing something else. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I think Wednesday is going to be our official club where everyone's supposed to be there and hash out what we all did and stuff like that.
What was Fridays again? Was that 3 to 6 or?
12 to 2.
12 to 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are going to be the times. We're also going to try and record as much of our meetings as possible and then post them to YouTube in case other people can't actually make it. So keep an eye out for those. We'll try to put them up as soon as possible. What else?
Well, we could talk about the current projects of the actual film club, or the current projects that we're working on.
Yeah. So what I was saying before is that we also kind of multitask in the sense that we shot some footage for our potential advertisement trailer that we're working on for our club for the event Club Rush, which is promotion of all the clubs on campus. And then the footage that we were getting of us was just kind of talking about what we were planning for the club or whatever, upcoming events and stuff that we need to do. We're hopefully going to plan also a tour possibly at Warner Brothers Studios and take a tour of the lots and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess Beverly wanted me to be in charge of that and get all the details, like vans and the prices and stuff like that. So I'm gonna check that out more. I did check that out last semester towards the end, but I think there's a couple different tours, and then I think Bolin said he might know someone who could help us out and get us onto one of the sets so we could hopefully see a show or movie in action. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he can do something like that for us as well. So
that's awesome.
Oh yeah, we also dicked around with Beverly's lighting equipment. Beverly's our club president. She brought a bunch of lighting equipment that we can fool around with, and we got a little bit of footage. I stood in as a model or whatever because I was wearing a white t-shirt, and how the lighting would look. We got some really cool shots. We messed around with gels, which are colored films that you can place over your lighting equipment to create a different atmospheric look. Mm-hmm. We messed around with blue gel on one side of me and then a red gel on the other, and it created a really cool effect. Which there's a picture that one of the guys took using my camera, and I'll try and post it to our Miracosta Filmmakers Club Instagram as well, because it looks really, really cool.
Yeah. Something else that we did was, we've been working on this alpha beta script for a long time, and we're, trying to figure out how we're going to shoot it and everything, and we talked about some of the people we're considering to cast for it, some of the actors on campus, so that was pretty fun to talk about.
Now, how many total revisions would you say that script went through?
A lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a couple. During our semester last semester, I think we did it, I want to say around 5 or 6 times, right?
Yeah.
And then this is a script that was from a previous semester prior to ours. So it's been worked on for quite some time.
So at least 10 revisions about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really fun though. Really fun process.
Yep.
Yeah, I find myself really fascinated with the editing process of like scripts and stuff like that. Just editing in general, I think it's really cool. Not just editing, literally editing digital, like the footage and stuff like that, but revisions and editing when it comes to the writing aspect too.
Right.
So that stuff's really cool.
There's a lot that goes into not just like splicing the film and the audio or just the different film lengths, but also just the different color aspect that editing has. Like most people don't really realize that pretty much when a movie's done filming, that's when like half the work also starts in a sense, because while it's kind of downhill, you need to make sure everything's going right downhill, the sound, the lighting, everything. Like everything credits the editing process is where all the film stuff comes together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's such a process, and especially when I do research on certain movies or TV shows that I really like, and then I view how long the entire process took from pre-production to post-production or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Some take, I think some have taken over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts. There are some really amazing projects. I think this one with Ethan Hawke and this one other really lovely lady where it's kind of like documenting a relationship between a husband and wife or whatever, how they met and how, you know, their life has gradually progressed over a period literally of like 10 years. Because I think all of the cast and crew would get together every couple years and shoot stuff or whatever. And, you know, the whole dynamics and stuff like that was really fascinating. So
there's a lot of different also just like kind of videos online that just help kind of teach you in a sense. But what I kind of learned about like film classes is not just the hands-on experience you get, but also just the terminology that you just learn, and then it's kind of like subtly there.
yeah.
Like, you know, throughout you would rewatch a video and you'd learn about, you know, like exposure times, or you'd learn about, you know, camera panning. Like that was something I really didn't notice about the class I had with Bolin, was just how much I saw the terminology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the real quick, the movie that I was talking about with Ethan Hawke, it's with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. There are 3 movies shot over the course of like, I don't know, 10 or 12 years. It's Before Sunrise, which was in 1995, Before Sunset, which was in 2004, and Before Midnight, which is in 2013. These years were when these movies were released. So it's just really fascinating to look at that kind of dedication to a role, basically. So yeah. Jessica, you said you had some projects you were working on?
Yeah, so I'm working on this script right now that I'm really excited about. It's like the most ambitious thing I've ever done, because I want to make it 22 pages long, which is going to be a really long script. And the reason why I picked that number is because typically in like sitcoms, you know, like half-hour programs, that's how long the runtime is. It's like 22 minutes. And you know how it's 1 minute, like each page is 1 minute?
Yeah.
So that means, you know, like I want it to feel like it's like an episode of something.
Yeah.
So I want to really like get it to that point. So I'm just like slowly working on it and trying to like get it so that it feels like it's, you know, and I'm trying to follow like the typical 3-act structure and everything. Yeah. And I'm really trying to like get it to that point where it feels like a full length episode of like a sitcom, you know? Yeah.
And is this a script of one of the scripts that you were working on last year? Like the
this is completely new.
Okay, cool.
This is like a whole new idea I had.
Care to share or not yet?
Yes. I will spoil it. Well, I'll share a little bit.
Okay. No spoilers. Whatever you want, boo-boo.
Okay.
A log line.
All right, so, okay, so It's this idea I had about, okay, so you know how when you're a little kid and you go on a field trip and the teachers make you go buddy up with someone if you have to use the bathroom so you don't get lost?
You told me about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
this sounds like a really good one, too.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd play around with that concept because I thought I could make something, like, really hilarious out of that. So basically, like, this kid and his friend, they decide to buddy up and become bathroom buddies while they're on, like, a field trip. But it's real. They're really just buddying up so that they could can go on this like big roller coaster because they're at an amusement park. They just want to go on like this big roller coaster and then they get like totally lost. And anyways, it's that's all I'm gonna share.
You better call it the buddy system.
No, it's called Bathroom Buddies.
All right. All right.
Now, who's
toilet humor? Yeah.
Who's the where does the story center around? Like, who are the main people that we're following? Is it just them, or does it pan over to other people, or is it?
I'm trying to have a subplot of also like the teacher and the rest of the class. Because, I want to, like, have the teacher be the antagonist. Like, for a long time, I kept, like, switching around the antagonist. At first, I wanted the antagonist to be, like, his mom. And then I was like, no, I'm going to have the antagonist be his sister. And then I was, like, thinking about all these people. Then I thought it was best to have the antagonist be the teacher. So then, because I want the teacher to have, like, the whole class, like, look for them and everything. Because, I feel like that works best.
Yeah, stick it to the man.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But yeah. Tim, what did you have?
Oh, for me? Well, what I've been working on is I've been trying to work on a couple of odd stories. One I feel a little bit more comfortable with. It's really early on in development, but it's of a kid growing up in Cuba who just arrives, and his uncle is like this crazy guy who's just like buying up all the seeds in the area, and he's warning like the town that if you don't save up, if you don't release your earthly possessions, all this stuff, you're not going to last. And that's because he knows that a war is going to start. So it's like a little bit before the Spanish-American War, but it's mainly detailing how life was in Cuba just before that broke out. So I'm still trying to figure out actually what audience I'm trying to target. That's something that I really am trying to look at more. But I kind of know the genre. It's like a historical period piece. It's not necessarily like a drama, but there are like tense moments in it. I think I'm going to lean more towards that. But just like a island life piece where it's trying to analyze the different elements. The one thing I'm trying to figure out is the point of view, because I thought about having a narrator, and then I thought, okay, I like the idea. But what
like an omniscient narrator?
Yeah, an omniscient narrator. But I thought, what if I had multiple narrators? And then originally I was just going to have it be segments where the kid would talk to his father, who's on the mainland, and go back and forth. But then I thought about, okay, why don't I have 3 letters talking about the 3 different periods, like the kid talking about what's currently happening, the dad's talking about what happened, and then the uncle talking about the island's history. But that's a little bit further on. Like I'm still trying to figure out how I just want the events to play out, and then I'll focus on the narrative story telling that way.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds like a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yep. And that project I just have titled right now, A Letter from My Uncle. But I was also thinking just Red Island Life, or just like Red Skies. That was another thing, like what's that called? Like Calm Before the Storm. Just like titles like that. But I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
So what about you?
I'm not really working on anything right now. I'm trying to just read, and I'm getting together a few ideas. I've got a lot of I've got some ideas that kind of stem from my own thoughts, and I kind of want to just maybe get scenes together. I feel like I have a really good idea of when I write stuff, I think my dialogue's pretty good. I really like some of the dialogue that I've had for a few other previous things that I've written, especially the script that I did for my final. Really loved the dialogue that I did. But I'm not really working on anything in particular, just trying to get my thoughts out onto paper and stuff like that. But yeah.
What do you say your style kind of leans more towards? If just like, do you kind of prefer one author? Or are you kind of similar in a sense, like writing style?
Like, do I kind of take after an author's writing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know. I understand what you're saying. There's this like kind of habit that writers tend to fall into, but then they finally realize what's going on is that, like, if you read let's say a particular type of writer, like Stephen King's work or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you'll start writing like him. And I've identified the potential to write like an author that I like or whatever, but now I've after having identified that possibility that I could end up doing that, that's something I kind of want to avoid. So nowadays I kind of pay attention to the structure of how a piece is written. I just want to learn how to write a story the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then figuring out how to write certain things is just, that's also another thing I'm trying to do. Whether it's writing descriptions or how to write dialogue between two characters and how that's structured and set up on the page or whatever. I'm just trying to, like, work on stuff like that as well.
Awesome.
But yeah. So another thing that I forgot to mention about Film Club is that on Wednesday nights, we're also going to try and start doing more movie screenings. We did a few last semester. Not our film club in particular, but like was it Billy Gunn who set up a few movie screenings?
Yeah.
We had, for instance, we had a movie screening that showed a movie called Half Widow that Jessica and I went to, and the director of the movie himself, he was there, and we got to meet him. We got to talk to him about making the movie and stuff like that, so that was really cool. So our film club is going to start doing regular movie screenings, and then I think one of our first movie screenings, I don't know if it's going to be this Wednesday or if it's going to be next Wednesday, we're probably going to be streaming the movie Parasite.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be around like 4 to 6 or something. We're hopefully going to be interviewing some audience members, maybe students, for like extra credit and stuff after the movie's play and stuff like that, and get their take and get people more involved. And then we'll probably record it and post it to YouTube and stuff like that. But we're hoping to get to do more activities for Film Club as well, and movie screenings are one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we might be starting out with Parasite. So more details will come soon. We'll try and post that to the Miracosta Filmmakers Instagram. So check that out.
Now that's one movie I actually I don't know anything about. Like, for some reason I just haven't seen a trailer, haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
What's it about?
I'm pulling it up right now. The general synopsis is: all unemployed Kai Teg and his family take peculiar interest in the wealthy and glamorous Parks as they ingratiate themselves into their lives and get entangled in an unexpected incident.
Wait a second,
That doesn't say shit.
Is that movie about the man who like swaps his like identity or code because he was lower class and swaps it to where he can actually be upper class? Is that what it is?
I have no idea. I think this is a Korean film, I want to say.
Okay.
It's going to be subtitled, but I have been hearing nothing but great things about this movie. So I really wanted to see it. Beverly bought a version of it early, and she's watched it like 4 times. So she's going to be the one who's, she'll be able to obtain the copy or whatever and stream it for us. So we're going to try and watch that and stuff like that.
And it's going to be subtitled, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about this.
Awesome.
Yeah. And
next topic, the movie.
Yeah. So Jessica, you saw Spies in Disguise.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty good. So the movie is produced by Blue Sky Studios, and I really like them. They made all the Ice Age movies, so, whenever you go see a Blue Sky Studios, you always see, like, Scrat trying to get his acorn before each movie. So
Legend has it he still hasn't gotten that acorn.
He hasn't gotten that acorn. So, yeah, I really think their movies are underrated. But this movie is really good, and I think it might have been one of the best animated movies of 2019. And I thought it was, I definitely thought it was better than, like, the Disney movies of the year. I liked it more than Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2, which I thought were sucky. And I definitely really liked it. I really liked Will Smith's character. Mm-hmm. I don't know what his name was, but the spy that he was playing, I thought he was great in that role. There were definitely, like, it was a really funny movie. There were some emotional scenes towards the end.
Nice.
Yeah, just, like, the whole pigeon plot was just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
did it
why
work, though?
Yeah, it worked.
Nice.
It was funny. The whole second act was just, like, taken up by Will Smith's character being turned into a pigeon.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Well, it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So then he gets, like, turned back to normal, and, yeah, it's just... Yeah, the movie has a lot of, like, themes in it about war, which I like, which was kind of deep for a kid's movie.
War is hell.
About how, like, violence isn't the answer and stuff, because, like, Tom Holland's character is trying to, like, solve problems in the world with, like, inventions and, science and peaceful ways, and then, like
a civilized human being.
And then Will Smith's character, who's the spy, he just wants, like, some bombs, and he just wants to fight crime and
Nuke
punch everybody. And so they have to, like, learn to get along and stuff, and so, yeah.
I pretty much know nothing about the movie except that Will Smith is in it, and now Tom Holland is in it. I literally saw one clip on YouTube of one of the scenes, and that in itself, the kind of, like, simple slapstick-esque humor of it makes me want to see it. And it was like, the comedic timing and the comedy in general is very, like, it's that body comedy or whatever. It's like
physical comedy.
Yeah, physical comedy. It was very prominent in this one scene, and that in itself was just hysterical watching it, and it makes me want to see the movie.
Yeah.
So. And then Jessica and I at different times saw Bombshell as well. It's the story of basically the precursor to when Bill O'Reilly and Roger Ailes got booted from Fox News. It's got a great cast.
Yeah.
Everywhere from Charlize Theron, Nicole Kidman, Margot Robbie, John Lithgow. It's just a really fantastic cast.
Can I just say, like, Charlize Theron was my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and the makeup done on her.
Oh, yeah.
To make her look like Megyn Kelly. Like, I couldn't even recognize that was Charlize Theron at first.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That makeup was just phenomenal, too. Like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Really, how did they do that? She looks exactly like Megyn Kelly.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really, really interesting story. Definitely a story, one of those precursor stories to the whole Me Too movement and stuff. Connie Britton is also in it. Kate McKinnon, Malcolm McDowell, Allison Janney, Rob Delaney. It's really phenomenal cast.
I think like my favorite part of the movie were just the actors. I think they did a great job. The plot was a little messy and slow.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of where I thought the movie was a little weak. I thought, because since it was like following 3 different characters, it was a little confusing.
A little jumbled.
Yeah. Movies are always best if it just follows one protagonist.
Yeah.
And just focuses on one character.
If anything, maybe it would be best if it followed the protagonist and maybe the antagonist.
Yeah.
Then just,
So, for that movie, does it have a clear kind of message, or is it more like plot event-based?
Plot event-based, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically telling the story of sexual harassment in the workplace and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, a precursor story or precursors selection of stories made into one about sexual harassment. So, thought it was a really great movie. Thought it was really interesting. I recommend it.
I think like Margot Robbie did an excellent job too. Like the fact that she can like go from playing just like that sweet girl that she was playing in this movie, and then she also plays Harley Quinn, like that Birds of Prey movie that's coming out, where she's just playing a complete psycho. Like she can play a lot of.
Did you see the first Suicide Squad movie? That was just one.
I thought it was awful.
It was a mess. The only thing I will say about that is that too much going on, too many characters.
Yeah.
They should have just focused on one villain. Probably just Enchantress, because she seemed like the main villain. And then, honestly, I think had they focused or made a movie solely with Jared Leto's Joker being the sole possible villain or whatever, we probably would have gotten much more out of his Joker character than what we got with him for the overall product of Suicide Squad. I think that I don't think that he was given enough
limelight.
Yeah, or like. They probably should have just made up their mind to either focus on one villain, and if they focused on Jared Leto, I think he could have had more time.
But isn't that whole movie about all of these villains like coming together
to defeat more villains?
Yeah,
pretty much. I just think that like one, for all intents and purposes, there's obviously the clear protagonist, and in this case there's the antagonist, but then overall there is a villain, but there were just too many villains. Had they chosen to make Jared Leto's Joker the main villain, the main antagonist of the story, he probably would have been given a lot more time to explore that character, and we would have been able to see much more in depth what he was able to do with that character. I think he was kind of like robbed in a sense. So I just
it's like it doesn't matter like how many characters that you have in your movie. Like a movie has to have a clear focus on a protagonist and an antagonist, or like it has to tell their narrative.
Just focus on one thing at a time.
I'm kind of looking at both of them again, and if you're looking at the movie poster for Suicide Squad, there's about like over 10 characters in the poster alone. If you're looking at, the Harley Quinn ones, most of the time they'll just say Bop on them. But they're actually there's only like 5 really for the female leads. There's only like 5 characters on the actual team.
Oh, you're talking about Birds of Prey?
Yeah, the Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
But it's a much smaller cast overall. If even if you count in the villain, like versus like 10. What was it? It was like on the other one. It was like 10 characters. And then,
yeah. 10 characters on the protagonist side, or let's just call them antagonists or whatever. Yeah. And then there were at least 2 overall major villains of the movie.
So are either of you gonna see Birds of Prey?
I don't particularly
I mean,
care.
I think it depends on how well it's received. Like, if people start saying good things about it, then maybe I'll go check it out.
I don't particularly care.
For me, like, this is gonna sound weird, but when I actually saw a Watch Mojo video about this, so you could see how credible. But
Watch Mojo.
when you actually see a movie marketed over and over and over, just before it's released is fine. That's what happened with the Batman vs Superman movie. They just marketed the crud of it the weekend before. But when you see a movie marketed like that, like months ahead of time, like that's where you can kind of start saying, okay, they're really kind of pushing this a bit. Like they're setting expectations too high, and I think even for this movie, I think it's a bit high for that. But we'll see.
It actually does look kind of fun, though.
It looks like it's one of those Friends movies, like a movie you bring your friends to. But I don't know, like that in Star Wars to me, like especially the recent ones, it's hard to go by yourself. That's one thing.
Yeah, I swear they pull a new Star Wars movie out of their ass every fucking year. I'm like so over it.
Apparently, if Lucas gets he might actually be coming back to make the next couple ones. There's a rumor going around about that if he gets full control.
Please, for the love of God, stop. Anywho,
they don't make Star Wars movies as much as they make Marvel movies. Like, they're always coming out with Marvel movies.
I bet they're about to change that, though.
Yeah.
I think that's what has it been, like 5 a year or so? Like, even if you count, like, the Fox movies?
I just round up and say a lot a year. Birds of Prey, Ewan McGregor is in it, and I really like him. And seeing as how he just had Dr. Sleep come out, and then seeing his character even in like small trailers in this movie, it seems like a really cool switch of the type of characters that he's playing. So he played a very kind of quieted, kind of introverted, damaged or whatever, brooding kind of character in Dr. Sleep, whereas now he plays quite a charismatic looking villain or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be really fun. So I'll see that solely just because Ewan McGregor is in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he actually in that movie he's going to play Roman Sionis, and that's kind of if anyone's seen Batman Begins, like when they had the mob boss in that one, it's going to be kind of very similar to that, I feel. Or just pretty much like, you have your hero or anti-hero or just, vigilante versus the mob type of movie. I just feel it's going to be kind of similar to that overall, but more lighthearted.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably see it. I won't be fussed if I don't see it, but the reason I would see it is because Ewan McGregor's in it.
This movie almost feels like it has one of those I'll see it on TV qualities.
Yeah. I'll wait till it's rentable. Yeah. So, I recently watched the new Netflix released series, Dracula. It's a new reimagined version of the Dracula story. So, right off the bat, I thought it was really interesting. I was very disappointed that it was only 3 episodes long. I'm hearing very kind of mixed reviews in the sense that people so far are saying it's actually pretty damn good, but seeing as how it's only 3 episodes for the first season, people are really raving about the first 2 episodes and saying that you might as well just stop from there. And then what it does is in the 3rd episode, it does a complete 180 in the sense that it does a time jump. And of course, like every movie nowadays, it does that thing where it's trying to appeal to a younger generation by having a bunch of characters casted with younger people, which I'm just like, and these characters are pretty much, hold on one second. These characters are the rest of the other characters, just in a different time jump. Like the Lucy character and the Jack character, they're casted with younger people for the time jump and stuff. and they're into the whole like partying scene. It's just young people and all that crap or whatever. I'm just like, yeah. So the moment I realized that they were doing a time jump into current day, like 2020, literally, I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? But something that I really, really did love about the casting was that for Dracula, and then they did a gender swap with the Van Helsing character. They did a character called Sister Agatha Van Helsing. So I thought that created a really, really great dynamic between the Dracula character and the new Van Helsing character. And the thing that I really loved about their casting as well is that they casted people above the age of 40. Claes Bang, he plays the title character Dracula, and he's actually, his character is more of a main character as well, because in previous incarnations and adaptations, the Dracula character isn't seen as much or as prominently. In the book itself, in the Bram Stoker book itself, the Dracula character is only seen more towards the beginning of the book, and then he's kind of one of those omniscient presence throughout the rest of the book. So this Dracula incarnation was basically made to be one of the main characters, and then the dynamic between the Dracula character and Sister Agatha Van Helsing, they had such great chemistry, and it was literally like almost maybe kind of flirty, but they did a really great banter, and they kind of like played off of each other really, really well, and I really, really loved that. And then Dolly Wells, she plays Sister Agatha, and I thought, when you guys watch this, and I recommend that you do, just brace yourself for the 3rd episode, Dolly Wells' Sister Agatha was so great. She's so funny and so entertaining, and I just really loved their banter back and forth. And then Claes Bang, he plays a very kind of at first you see him, spoilers, as the older kind of decrepit Count Dracula, and then he ends up getting his youth back because he drains Jonathan Harker's blood, and ends up making Jonathan Harker a vampire. And then once Dracula gains his youth back, he's got this whole new spring in his step. He's just like this young, spry guy, but he's Claes Bang, he's actually in his early 50s, but he's a very handsome man. And I can't thank the production team enough that they casted someone above the age of 40, because he's got this like youth to him, but he's also got the presence of like a handsome man who's also kind of like handsome but almost dangerous looking at the same time, which I think is exactly what Dracula is.
This is going to sound weird, but how was the makeup quality or the cosmetics in that actual like series?
I thought it was pretty damn cool. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. It's the older, decrepit version that we are introduced to of Dracula himself when the first episode starts is very similar to Gary Oldman's version in the Bram Stoker movie Dracula. Very kind of, I think they use a lot of reds, and then the Dracula old version is very white and pale, like the Gary Oldman version. And then, I thought and then Claes Bang himself, the actor, he also kind of like, I guess, did something with his voice as an older version, which off the bat, I was just like, whoa, that's not the type of voice that I expected to come out of that dude's mouth. It's kind of like, Mr. Harker. It's just that, like, almost nasally a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But once he regains his youth, he's just got this, like, smooth, cool guy kind of air, and he's just, like, more manly and confident and just
stronger overall.
Yeah. And I just thought it was really, really great. Yeah.
I'm going actually like segueing a bit back to Netflix. Have either of you seen the trailers for Gentified Horse Girl?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've never heard of it.
Both of those I feel are going to be big, along with Lock and Key. And the reason for that is one of them, Horse Girl, just from the trailer. Imagine you're focusing a movie on an awkward girl who everyone around her, it's like, oh, I like horses. I work at my mom's store. Like all this weird things that would be a little bit socially awkward. But then as things go on, she becomes more and more normal because the day starts to loop over.
Oh,
and it's almost like a Groundhog Day thing.
Ugh.
But
She's
it ends up being alien abduction, if that makes any sense. And she starts asking her family, and then the family's like, you know what, you need to stop doing this, and it becomes like one of those pressure things where you think, okay, how far does this go? She gets phone calls from this guy from her hallucinations and telling her it's not real, stop believing it. So that one looks good. Gentified, pretty much there's a burrito store or shop, and it's not doing very well financially. And it's kind of focusing on a couple different stories also, but it's mainly a story about a community remodeling itself to update itself. And the cast looks good. I just wonder, because it's kind of like it's a Hispanic comedy. I really just say Mexican comedy, but Hispanic, from what I could tell. And there seems to be a lot of effort into, like, there's mixed what do you call that? There's I don't want to say Spanglish, but there's like parts where the people are talking English and Spanish English, and they have subtitles in it, but there's a clear natural flow to the dialogue that seems pretty important for especially a Netflix series. I just wonder what people think of it in a couple years from now. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, is just those two really seem to stand out along with Lock and Key.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know nothing about Lock and Key. I'm really excited for it though.
Mm-hmm.
Even the what's it called? The movie poster itself just looks really interesting. I mean, it's like someone sticking a key in a hole-shaped lock in someone's neck. I'm just like, whoa, that's interesting looking. But yeah.
Oh, and Netflix also dropped what they're releasing next month. A couple different stuff. But what do you want to talk about next?
Who saw Juno for the first time? Was it you?
Did. Yeah, I did.
Juno.
So in the film class I'm taking, we actually analyzed Juno, and we mainly did that for the diegetic sounds, so like sounds that were added in.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one scene in particular, not to get too graphic, but she's deciding whether or not to have an abortion because she's like a 16-year-old kid who got pregnant.
Yeah.
And pretty much the sound effects and like different noises, they're focusing on the different people in the office, and they're making it like very, very unpleasant the whole time that she's in there, and eventually causes her to leave. So we were mainly analyzing how the camera is used to like focus on very kind of unpleasant things to create like a mood for us to kind of relate with the main character. But that was the main scene that we were supposed to analyze. But the overall movie itself, it felt like a first performance for most of the actors.
Yeah.
But not in a bad sense. It felt very breathtaking for many of them. The only thing I'll say is I saw a lot of other movies with a lot of the other characters, like Jennifer Garner, Ellen Page, very much Michael Cera, and J.K. Simmons. And it's almost like they were playing themselves in that movie. Well, not like themselves as people, but their character that they normally play. And like I could pretty much see, like, after seeing Up in the Air, I saw J.K. Simmons as how he normally acts. Like, I was wondering, I wonder how he acts in other movies. And it's like, oh, that's how he kind of acts. Like, the older guy, bit gruffer. But the two main stars, Ellen Page and Michael Cera, as a Juno and Polly Bleeker, I mean, to me, I enjoyed when they were, the bantering between them when they were on screen. But there's a lot of scenes when you're either just focusing on one or the other, and it seems a little bit mispaced. Like, there's just a couple scenes where you focus on Polly Bleeker, and there's a couple narrations.
Yeah.
And I won't say that the story has a narrative problem, like Who Do You Follow? But for me, I would say that they definitely went for a very emotional focus for the story, and you could see that a lot in the camera work. Like they do a I don't want to say seasonal gag, but they do a thing where it's like winter, summer, fall for the different acts of the story, and the camera kind of follows that color scheme. If you really look close at it, like they'll have people wearing warmer colored clothes in summer, or colder clothes and like stained clothes in winter and things like that to make it bleaker. And it was it was supposed to be an emotional story, and it came off as that. And I enjoyed it. Did you two ever see it?
Oh yeah,
I've seen it a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been years, but like, it's one of those things. It's one of those movies where, it deals with another, I feel, newer teen archetype of like the obnoxiously cynical, almost nihilistic teenager or teenage girl or whatever who's just sarcastic about every fucking thing around her. I'm just like,
that was the thing in the beginning. She's way too sarcastic.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's parts where it's like the people are just talking and then she just makes a joke, and it's just like not even a very sarcastic person will make a joke right there. But
yeah,
the actual story gets much better as time goes on, which is something I was hoping for. The one thing I just kind of wanted from the film that seemed a bit off is like certain closure scenes. Like it leaves off on a kind of happy note and stuff, but for me the actual movie itself seemed a bit off. It seemed very long in the middle. That's the one thing about it. It's like it says spring, and then spring goes by. No wait, it starts in fall, and then fall goes by pretty quickly. That makes sense because of the baby, but then winter just goes on for so long.
Yeah.
And yeah, like for me, the seasonal pacing thing they were doing wasn't good. But I liked the camera work. That was something that was good about the overall movie. It wasn't a comedy though. I'll say this.
It's kind of depressing, isn't it?
I did not laugh once. That is, and it was. We saw the trailer beforehand, and there are other people in the class that laughed and enjoyed it, and I could see why certain jokes would. But for me, when you're having a very serious topic, and you don't have a very either blunt joke or a very just really funny one, like there wasn't a joke that was naturally funny. It just seemed like the people were bitter.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I felt, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I kind of felt the same way about the movie Funny People. It was not funny to me at all. It was really, really fucking depressing, actually. It's with Adam Sandler and I think, not Seth Rogen, was it? Let me look at that. It was with, what's his face? Oh, yeah, it was with Seth Rogen. Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen. It was not funny to me. It was actually very depressing and moody. So
that's the thing about dark comedy movies is that when they try to have the person we're empathizing going through a rough patch and we're supposed to laugh at them, we're not laughing at ourselves for like, haha, see how ridiculous I was because I didn't tell my parents, or I got in trouble, or I spent all that money I didn't get help. No, we're feeling sad for the person because they're experiencing that pain.
Yeah.
Because we understand what that pain's like. It's not necessarily a what's that called? It's not necessarily like a kind of sadist thing where it's like, haha, a person in pain or something like that. It's like, no, emotional trouble's really hard to do that, and a dark comedy is even harder. And for me, Juno was marketed as like a really, really funny movie, teen, but if you listen to any of the like audio, there'll just be scenes when you have leaves rustling as a person's walking. There's a couple scenes when she's sitting in her car crying, cars are going by. When you're having the audio just flat out have nothing in it, like not even like, there'll be some funny songs that play when, a couple, ironic things are happening, but for me it was a really emotional story.
Yeah.
And I feel it nailed that better than the comedy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, you bought a really cool new book.
Yes.
Tell us about it, sweetheart.
That little book is Storyboarding Essentials by David Harland Rousseau and Benjamin Reed Phillips. And it is about it's about mainly storyboarding, drawing, planning out your movie, but it has many different styles and aspects and approaches that are great. Like, one of the things I just love is how it highlights like different scripts and how those translate into the actual storyboard.
Oh, nice.
And not only has this helped me understand different terminology I didn't understand, just going out of a first year script class, but it also gives you just a list of terminology. Like there's one I'm looking at right now where it's breaking down a scene. It's on page 25, and it's breaking down the different terms that are used in a shot and the different people that are in that shot. And there's more like different things where it goes into spec scripts versus shooting scripts.
Mm-hmm.
And how most people would want to write a spec script versus labeling every person, labeling every object, showing it where it is in the scene. But what I like about it is there's simple drawings, there's complex drawings, there's mainly an approach to finding out what style you want. And
so, like, could I make a storyboard if I only know how to draw stick figures?
You can make a storyboard if you only know how to draw dots. That's pretty much.
Wow.
If you can just write a comment by the panel of what it's supposed to be, of what the scene's going to be. Mainly, this is going to sound weird, you just need placement and movement.
Yeah.
And if something's just standing for like 5 minutes, you can just have a panel take up 5 spots, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
And
you do not need to know how to draw to effectively storyboard.
And even saying that, like, people's like, oh, I can't draw, or I can't draw well, or, well, I can make simple dots or stick figures and stuff. There are professional people that make, like, large-scale movies, and they just draw stick figures, and then they get the people to, fill it in or make more complex things. That's another thing, too, is storyboards also have drafts. And that's something I didn't notice, is that, you would think, okay, they have rough sketches and stuff. Well, what they do is they do a light once over, go over it with the editor, and if the editor says good, or if the producer says good, or the person in charge, then they'll just do a more detailed version and then say, okay, this is how we want the clothes look, this is how we want it to go. But what I just really enjoyed about this also is figuring out how all these go into, because there's a whole chapter in the back about interviews, about how people who write storyboards and people who actually work on these sets, work with other people. And there's just people that do that have done one page storyboards, one frame, and they tend to be more artsy. I'll understand why people would be a little bit turned off to it because of the more complexity of it. But one of the best pictures, if you ever find this book even in a store, just look at one page, and it's on page 173, and it's just such simple drawings that even the people who aren't big artists, or that just want to have a narrative story, and they just want a little bit of plotting, you can just do simple circles for heads and just rough jagged lines for arms, and people understand what you want. They just want to know how the actual ratio, what should you put on camera, and that's mainly the storyboarding book. And I've been blown away by it. Yeah,
I plan on. Where'd you get that? Did you get that at Barnes and Nobles?
You can pretty much get it at Barnes and Nobles. I wouldn't say most bookstores because it's a low, it's an odd size, but you can. I'd look there first.
Okay, I'm probably gonna go there after the podcast today.
That's great.
So again, that is the book Storyboarding Essentials: How to Translate Your Story to the Screen for Film, TV, and Other Media. And it's by David Harlan Rousseau and Benjamin Reed Phillips.
Oh, and that's something I forgot to talk about. It's not just TV and film. The other media plays a huge part into it. Even if, besides, comics, which is the easy thing to talk about.
What other media are they talking about?
Like you can, okay, so if you're either working in planning models, planning, what's that called? Like, planning games or staging. Like, this is actually just great. It's going to sound weird for plays also. Because
you can block and stage.
Blocking. That's the best thing I can describe this book is. It's like over 200 pages of great different examples and ways to block.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really cool. Actually, I think I'm gonna get it today.
Yeah.
All right. So is that good for now?
I think that's good for now.
That's pretty damn good. Any other thoughts, you guys?
Yep.
Great to have y'all here.
Yep.
I'm glad to get this semester started. So that was the Miracosta Filmmakers Podcast. We'll try to have this uploaded. I don't even think I'll have any editing to do, so this is going to be really cool. Hope you guys like that. Keep an eye out for the next one, and then join our Instagram at Miracosta Filmmakers Club on Instagram for updates. We'll try and update that as much as possible for further stuff and whatever. I am Kim.
I am Tim.
I am Jessica.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Toodles.